Philippines, only about 2% of our milk requirement is produced locally. The remaining 98% is imported. We consume dairy every single day. Milk, cheese, yogurt, but we barely produce our own. That is the gap. A country rich in land, talent, and hardworking farmers, yet dependent on others for something we are capable of producing ourselves. Dito sa Guimaras, there was only one active dairy farm. Hello everyone, ako po si Kyle Matthew Fernandez, owner and founder ng Ferncrest Dairy Farm. I grew up in Iloilo City. When I was 10 years old, I moved to the United Kingdom. Most of my formative years were spent abroad, learning, adapting, dreaming bigger. In 2018, I came back to the Philippines to study culinary arts. My plan was simple: finish my studies, gain experience, and eventually move to Australia. But life had other plans. When the pandemic happened, everything stopped. My plans were put on hold. During that time, I opened a small pastry and coffee shop in Santa Barbara, Iloilo. It was my way of continuing my passion. But while I was running that shop, something else was growing quietly in my mind. I found a property in Guimaras Island, land that had potential, land that could be more. I fell in love with the property the first time I saw it. I knew it was the one. It is seated on top of a hill, overlooking the ocean, bare and filled with lush greeneries. That's inspired the name Ferncrest. So I made a difficult decision. I paused the pastry shop and shifted my full attention to developing the 2.3-hectare property in Barangay Tanag, Buenavista, Guimaras. Hindi madali ang desisyon. People questioned it. Bakit ka magpa-farming? Chef ka na. I was stepping into something I had never done before. I was stepping into agriculture, specifically dairy farming at a young age. And when I began studying the local dairy situation, the numbers struck me deeply. Only 2% of our milk is produced locally. At the same time, many Filipino children still struggle with proper nutrition, especially protein and calcium intake. Kapag kulang sa nutrisyon ang bata, hindi lang katawan ang naapektuhan, pati pag-aaral, pati kinabukasan. That was the moment it stopped being about business. It became about purpose. Ferncrest Dairy Farm was built not just to produce milk, but to respond to a need. Today, our farm is home to Holstein dairy cows and Saanen dairy goats. Every day, our goats produce around 10 to 15 liters of milk. From our livestock, we create pasteurized milk, flavored milk, mozzarella cheese, goat's cheese, and goat's milk cottage cheese. We improve our packaging, we refine our branding. But beyond the products, what matters most is the system behind them. We work with agrarian reform beneficiaries who have land that becomes idle during off-season. Instead of letting it sit unused, rent their land and plant corn for silage. Feed that sustains our livestock even during dry months and typhoons. It keeps production stable, it keeps income flowing, it keeps land productive.
Ako gali si Robert Gonzales, beneficiary sa agrarian reform beneficiary. Among during farm, amoy ni siya. Kung wala na siya umay, ginatamnan naman siyang mais para nga ginasuportar pakaon sa baka ni Sir Kyle. Dako mga bulig nga ginahatag sa amon daw nalipay mga kami nga mga imports nga ginahatag ya. Kung anong mga benepisyo nga mabalaan niya ginadalay man di sa amon, amon nang dako nga pasalamatan naman kay Sir Kyle.
Ambisyon ni Sir Kyle, klaro gid, diri sa Ferncrest, pinapakita nga ang dairy farming pwede maging moderno kag makabulig sa komunidad. Pagi sini mas nagdamo ang ako nabalaan bilang isa ka fresh graduate.
Today, Ferncrest Dairy Farm now has a license to operate issued by the National Dairy Authority and is recognized as learning site for agriculture by the Agricultural Training Institute. Hindi lang kami nagpo-produce. We teach, we share, we open our farm to students, farmers, and young entrepreneurs. Because progress should not be kept, it should be multiplied. We also grow lakatan bananas and dragon fruits to diversify and strengthen sustainability. Through the Young Farmers Challenge Regional Grant, we are now constructing our farm shop. Alongside this, our farm pavilion is also currently under construction, which will soon serve as a space for trainings, farm tours, and community engagement. As the regional winner of the Young Farmers Challenge, I carry not just recognition, but responsibility. I am a proud member of the Guimaras Dragon Fruit Association and Buenavista Corn and Cassava Association, and a chairperson of Buenavista Livestock and Poultry Association. I was also honored to win first place in the Pinasarap sa Kanin Cooking Challenge and to be nominated as Most Outstanding Farmer, Large Animal Raiser during the Bugal sa Guimaras Agricultura at Lamanggahan Festival 2025. But awards are not the goal. Impact is. If given the opportunity at the national level, my vision is to establish commercial cold storage and expand our dairy goat production, increasing capacity and strengthening local supply. Ferncrest Dairy Farm is more than a farm. It is proof that when a young Filipino chooses to stay, to build, and to believe, change is possible. Pinagpalit ko man ang apron para sa putik at araw, alam ko na dito ako mas kailangan. And I know it is all worth it because here, I found a deeper purpose. Milk is not just a product. Ito ay nutrisyon, ito ay kabuhayan, ito ay kinabukasan. Through Ferncrest Dairy Farm, the community has access to quality products that are local pride and Guimaras own.
I'm Mati Fernandez. I am not just a dairy farmer, but someone who chose to bridge the gap.
For our children, for our farmers, for our country.
And this is only the beginning.